thank you everyone again for this session. So I will just try to share my screen if it's, let me know if everyone is able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So I think the case that was given to our friends at Goa Institute of Management, by the way, Goa is on the seaside on the western coast of India. It's one of the loveliest touristy places of India as well. We have been to that institute a couple of times and we love that institute because of the location. But somehow, of course, because of the COVID-19 times, there's a dearth of tourists visiting that place. So the case study for today is COVID-19 and the future of fitness. Ideally, the lockdown has disrupted life as we know it. We all are working from home, and it's a very challenging time for the global entrepreneurs as well. This particular case study will focus on evaluating one such opportunity in the field of health and fitness. Because of the shutdown, we know that we are all stuck in our homes. But having said that, the gyms and the group class venues have closed down, but there's an alternative way as well. And we have requested our students to come up with some ideas that we can discuss and talk about as well. So that's the last slide, which talks about the opportunity in India to take the group fitness classes to the customer en masse with the use of technology. That was a basic of the case study that was given. This case study brief has been circulated amongst the panelists as well. When life starts getting back to normal again, we might see a surge of different models around this particular opportunity. And we'd love to see how our students have actually given it a go. So that's it from my end. And I will hand over this back to my friends at Jim, and they can start the case.
Hello everyone, this is Team Northern Lights from Goa Institute of Management. So as part of the Abilis Partners Case Study Challenge, have you started the presentation? Yes. Okay. Hello everyone, this is Team Northern Lights from GIM. So as part of the Abilis Partners Case Study Challenge, we will be talking about the future of the fitness industry. We believe that the current worldwide pandemic has brought about significant change in consumer behavior globally. And with that change comes a plethora of opportunities to be leveraged. So let's a brief introduction to the team bringing you this presentation. First off, my name is Akshay Arora. I am an MBA student from Goa Institute of Management, specializing in big data analytics with a background in business commerce. Next up, we have.
Hi everyone. So my name is Amey Harshay, and I'm currently pursuing MBA in big data analytics from Goa Institute of Management. I'm an EC engineer by background, and I have completed my graduation in 2019 from Nirva University, Ahmedabad. Next up.
Hello everyone, I am Pratik Satpathy, currently pursuing an MBA with Big Data Analytics as my specialization from Goa Institute of Management. My technical interest lies in data analysis and visualization. My hobbies are making sketches and doing graphic designing.
I think you're on mute. Oh, so sorry for that. Hello everyone, my name is Shubhada Bablugaonkar. I have completed my BTech in electrical engineering, and after that I have joined Big Data Analytics at GIM. So my interests are data analytics and data visualization.
Hello everyone, I am Samasha Biswas. I have work experience of about 33 months with TCS as a business intelligence developer. I am an electronics and communication graduate, currently pursuing my post-graduation in Big Data Analytics at Goa Institute of Management. My interests are in data analytics and data science.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanisha Gupta. Currently I'm pursuing PGDM in Big Data Analytics from Goa Institute of Management, and my bachelor's from Business Administration from Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore.
So as you can see, our team covers a wide variety of bases, from freshers to people with industry experience, with educations ranging from commerce to marketing to engineering. We believe that with this variety, we get a slew of different perspectives, which has allowed us to put together a multifaceted solution. Now, what is the objective of this presentation? Well, it is to analyze the current state of and identify any future trends in the fitness industry, so that we may leverage these to create an offering that will help us capture the ever-expanding Indian fitness market. Okay, moving on to the background.
So here I'm going to explain about the flow or the process that we followed to come to the solution of our objective. The methodology comprises of a preliminary research technique of primary research and secondary research. The primary research involved interviews with experts in the industry such as fitness trainers, gym owners, yoga experts, life coaches, and nutritionists. We conducted almost 30 interviews with fitness professionals. We also collected responses from common people around the world through a survey form. This helped us understand how the industry is currently evolving and what challenges people are facing. Next, for the secondary research, we analyzed social media and Google Trends to know the sentiments and interests of users regarding fitness. We referred to several research papers and articles from different sources like Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and Analytics India magazine. Moving on to the pain points and solution. From our background research, we could consolidate the insights we gained and gather some key problem areas in fitness industry. By taking into consideration the pain points, we proposed a solution and identified all possible challenges that we could face after implementation. The touch points that we covered are the user needs, their current problems and challenges they are facing in the fitness industry, the advancement of the fitness industry in terms of technology and customer wellness, how it has evolved gradually, the solution details to some of the major pain points gathered, a problem solution and the go-to-market strategy for it, a financial analysis too, and finally, all the possible challenges that it can face after its implementation. Here we have highlighted some of the fitness professionals of different categories and owners of fitness industries with whom we have conducted our interviews. Some of them are nutritionists, health coach, personal trainer, yoga trainer, etc. Interviewing them, we could list down our challenges and perspective towards the fitness industry. The major problem they found is the lack of knowledge among the trainers and the customers as well. According to them, the fitness centers have become money-minded and not customer-centric. Some of them also shared their views on the advancement of industry in terms of technology. They agreed that everyone should keep moving towards the change and update themselves with the new methods, tools, and technology that are being introduced in the industry. Mr. Shubham Kabra, a young gym owner, also shared his thought on the need of a community of fitness professionals and enthusiasts so that there is easy communication and networking among them. One common view that everyone agreed to is the importance of the trainer. They realized that connection between the trainee and the trainer plays a vital role.
So the second part of our primary research was the survey in which we collected responses from 96 people from various demographics to get a wide range of reviews. Here we have mentioned 4 of the responses which were quite useful for us. Mostly the people are not much acquainted with AI embedded fitness devices. They just have used fitness bands and some basic mobile apps. The problems which the general public is facing with fitness are people are way too busy in their lives that even if they feel fitness is important for them, they don't find time for it. Gyms, fitness studios are lacking entrepreneur mindset, which should be inclined towards helping the customers, but these centers are just money oriented. There are many who start fitness activities but can't keep going for more than a week or at max more than a month because of lack of motivation. One of the key problems which they are finding with virtual trainers is that there is no face-to-face interactions. Shikhar Bhagoliwal, a 25-year-old from Mumbai, as you can see, suggests a technique to track others who manage to do fitness activities and have similar schedule like him. Elderly people like 55-year-old Sangeeta Chauhan feels online channel should also focus on mental health rather than just physical health. So coming to the background research, after the background research, we came up with 5 pain points. First of all, the customers are lacking basic knowledge about fitness. They don't have the idea about different fitness activities and postures. Even many confuse bodybuilding with fitness activities. Secondly, customers are not finding the motivation mainly due to lack of social interactions. Fitness centers are way too expensive and they don't have the intent to help the customers. They just try to trap them with costly packages. Doing this, sometimes they neglect the medical conditions of the customers. Fourthly, people are struggling with time, money, and space to take up fitness activities. Lastly, it is in fact the key concern among the trainers in the fitness industry. There are a lot of unqualified trainers with fake or no certifications. who are getting jobs at centers. Gyms are even hiring them to cut their cost. This is making it difficult for the actually certified trainers. To summing up, we have to come up with a technology to ensure genuine fitness options for the customers with time, place, and money not being a barrier. Moving up.
So here up, I'm going to explain about the growth potential of the fitness industry that we just determined from our research. Now, since we are seeing a potential boost in the revenue by 2023, the gym business can be expanded online through apps and websites. Also, membership fee can be reduced by giving certain amount for the membership fees and the remaining amount for the gym training kits. The market trend is the highest for wearables like Fitbit and MI Band compared to fitness apps, and most of the users are in the age category of 25 to 34 years as per the age-wise segmentation graph shown below. Majority of the trainers are ready to move digitally, and with the integration of AI, more trainings are going to be conducted online from home considering the ongoing pandemic of COVID-19. And post that, social distancing norms will be followed at gyms as well. Moving on.
So as we all know, the fitness industry has evolved well in technological side. AI is being implemented to keep a track of daily workouts. Virtual classes are connecting trainers and fitness enthusiasts. There are many apps available with different key features like Break to Relax focuses on breathing exercises, Studio Bloom focuses on prenatal and postnatal exercises, vPixel focuses on 3D motion tracking. But what we observed is lack of a common platform which will be providing all-in-one facility and bringing gyms, trainers, and fitness enthusiasts together. So moving on. So here is our proposed solution, Fitter, a social networking, business and employment platform in fitness industry. This platform will be available in the form of mobile application and website. It will connect gyms, fitness trainers, nutritionists, and fitness enthusiasts to each other. As discussed earlier, one of the major problems in fitness industry is fake fitness certifications. There are hundreds of online sites providing fake certificates, and many times gyms don't even check the validity of certificates of trainers. Fitter will validate certificates of trainers before giving them access to networking. Also, people have different health conditions. Leading to different workout requirements. So Fitter will give them personalized trainer suggestions according to their requirement in nearby their locality. In addition to that, we are proposing an AI device which will provide you real-time progress of your workout by advanced monitoring, all-time virtual connectivity to your personal trainer chosen from Fitter. It will convenient to use, control, and could be converted to almost every instrument in gym. It will keep track of all your activities and motivate you to push your limits. So it will be your gym, host, coach, and motivator at your home. To solve lack of motivation in fitness enthusiasts, we are proposing gamification in our platform. There will be some daily quests and highly engaged individuals will be provided recognitions and digital badges. So moving on.
So now I'm going to explain the model roadmap that we just created. Firstly, the first step will be data extraction, where we will be extracting 5 types of data like user membership information, transaction data related to subscription payment, profile data of the trainer, location of subscribers and trainer, and lastly, the outputs obtained by AI devices like Fitbit, MI Band, and the medical history data. So for the input parameters, we will be considering demographic data, the fitness routine followed by the users as per the survey form generated by us, their past records, a Google Trend analysis of the current trends of the fitness industry, and the average monthly expenditure. We combine all of this and create a model for workouts. Amongst that, we will decide that which model should we suggest and what mode of workouts should be used, offline or online. We get a warning about the workout mode in case there are any errors in any of the modes after monitoring the model. And the warning signal is sent in form of feedback to the model, and accordingly, changes are done. Moving on.
Now I will guide you through the mobile app of Fitter. When a new user downloads the app and opens it for the first time, he or she will be given 3 options to create an account: as a trainee, a trainer, or a platform. Recommendation system will be used to suggest the perfect matches for each of them. All the pages will begin with collecting the demographic details. Let's see how the trainees page will look like. For the trainees, it will collect the data about what fitness activities they are interested in, some more details like how, when, and where would they prefer to take up those activities, and finally some additional features like nutrition, diet, stress management, and motivational leads. Coming to trainers profile, they will need to upload their certificates with credential IDs and URLs, which will be validated further. Their training experience will be, preferences will be recorded after that. And at last, the special attributes like equipment suggestions will be recorded. When a training platform will log in, they will have list down the fields of fitness in which they specialize in, like CrossFit, yoga, martial art, weight training, etc. Then the details of the trainers in the centers will be recorded. Finally, the different packages and their rates will be uploaded. In the products page, our unique AI fitness products will be displayed where users can place their orders. Moving on. This is our showstopper, the artificially intelligent product of Fitter. It can become a user's best friend and as well as favorite trainer of the user. It will be as interactive as you can think of. It can be used at homes, fitness studios, or even at a workplace. It will be using motion tracking to give real-time data on calories burnt, weights, time taken for workout, intensity of workout, etc. With a live commentary feature, it will continuously keep motivating the user throughout the workouts. Using IoT, that is Internet of Things, the device will also collect the user's data all over the day and show the summary in form of eye-catching visualizations. It will also give new workout suggestions every day like abs, legs, chest, etc. It will let the user know about their progress and help them compete with their friends. The users will be provided suggestions about new fitness courses which would interest them. Moving on.
So let's talk about our go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market strategy is the way through which companies bring their product to the market. So here we have established our own step-by-step guide to go-to-market strategy. Moving on to our first step, we have to identify our buyer's persona, that is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Here we are focusing on demographic and psychographic targeting. In demographic, we are targeting the age group of 18 to 50 years of upper middle class and above. Also, we will also target the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. For psychographic targeting, we are focusing on people who are time constrained, that is busy professionals, people who want to adopt a healthy lifestyle, as well as people who are comfortable with technology. Our next step is value matrix. Value matrix help us to communicate the purpose of our product and how people can emotionally connect with our product. That is how it will capture the main, pain points. Here, we are going to bring trust factor with trust certified trainers, and keeping in mind the safety will also be providing online and offline consulting for these certified trainers. Gamification will help our users to get motivated and will be excited for their workout. Moving on to the next slide. We have a buyer's journey. There is a lot of interest built up in the initial stage, which narrow down. So that our customer journey is divided into 3 parts: tofu, mofu, and bofu. First stage is tofu. That is also known as the awareness stage, where we generate our interest within the customer through our marketing landscape and channels. We narrow it down to the next area, that is mofu, also known as the consideration stage. After reaching out the audience through our marketing landscape, people who register for the free trials contact us for the queries, which will narrow it down to the bofu, the decision stage. They may or may not like a product. If they like it, they may consider it for purchasing. Moving on to the next slide, let's talk about the marketing landscape.
So we will be using Smarketing, that is smart marketing, which is process of integrating sales and marketing processes of business to have a common integrated approach. After deciding goal and target users, we will decide where to launch our first campaign. We can use paid media advertising for the same. To increase traffic, visibility, engagement, lead generation, and sales, we will be using YouTube ads, Instagram ads, some other social media channels, and email marketing. We can directly approach gyms to make them aware about our product and how it will be helpful for them. We can use influencer marketing by having a celebrity fitness star on board with us, which will help us to promote our product. Also, we can use chatbots to reach a large amount of prospects. Moving on.
Experimental marketing. Experimental marketing, or we can say engagement marketing. It is a marketing strategy that invites the audience to engage with our product or business in a real world situation. It not only helps the audience to actively engage with the brand and product, but also provides them with something valuable to take away and remind them of their experience. With our product, we will provide experimental marketing in 4 ways. First, exercise and price. We will be focusing on areas where a good amount of audience will be coming, for example, malls, commercial spaces, cyber parks, etc. With collaboration with sports product outlets like Nike, Reebok, Adidas, etc. and cafes like Starbucks, Cafe Coffee Day, etc. We will be displaying our product and promote with our gamification feature. This will engage people with our product and provide them with real life experience. Second is fitness exhibitions and events. Displaying our products in different fitness exhibitions can make a large audience aware of our product. For example, events like Sports India, an international sporting goods exhibition on sports goods, sportswear and accessories, fitness and technology can help us reach our product to a grand exposure and make people aware of it. Third is hashtags and online approach. Here we will provide free trials of our online platform and reach out to the audience with ads and hashtags on different social media sites. We will promote small video clips of our products showing all the benefits that the potential customer fitness enthusiast can have during their workout. This will help us in gaining more product views and awareness among people. The last one is the interactive launch events. So, organizing an exciting and interactive launch event with music and videos can attract a good amount of audience. Creating engagement with our fitness providers, our platform, and the active audience will make them understand our product, have a complete look and feel, and also we can gain real-time feedback about our product as well. Next, we will see some of the steps to optimize our go-to-market strategy. We can track and measure the opportunities that come into our sales funnel. We can provide support after purchase to correct the faults found. Also, we can find ways to reach and connect to the interested buyers. We can analyze and forecast the existing customer behavior and take action accordingly.
All right, let's talk about the financials. First off, we have the development costs. These were arrived at in consultation with ThinkWeb, which is a website and application development company. The SaaS licensing and maintenance costs are all ballpark numbers based on current industry standards. Next, we go on to the sales and marketing costs. This aspect is an important one given the slew of established competitors we will be going up against. Industry giants like Fitbit, Healthify, Nike. Again, all these numbers are based on industry standards arrived at based on the channels we believe will work the best. Now, based on our current costs and assuming we captured 5, 7, 9% of the market in subsequent years, we will break even in the third year. You will notice our operating costs do not come down significantly. This is based on the assumption that we will continue to invest heavily in use cases over the years. Now, let's talk about the timeline. During the third quarter of 2020, we will be producing and developing the app. We will begin development of the application by hiring a team of developers, data scientists. We will also begin to start working on the research and development of the Fitter AI device. First quarter 2021 would be the validation and iteration phase. Here, we iterate and test assumptions, recognize initial key performance indicators, and move beyond minimum viable product. Then we move on to partnership and prototyping. Pilot the network, then populate the space by partnering with certain gyms and trainers and industry influencers and bring them onto our platform. This is also the phase where we start prototyping the Fitter AI device. Then, during the third quarter of the year, we launch the app. At this point, we make changes based on our pilot and focus on KPI-based growth. Last quarter of the year, and we're constantly using ML and DL models to improve on our services, testing new use cases and making the product better. Then, finally, at the beginning of 2022, we launch the Fitter AI device. Of course, there will be certain challenges that we will end up facing. Certain demographics, as was apparent from our interviews, still believe one-on-one training to be optimal and will be unwilling to adopt the AI-based solution. Now, given the nature of our venture, high R&D expenses will be involved. Then the elderly and people with various disabilities have a lot of issues while working out, and our AI device solution may not be the best fit for them. And that concludes the end of the presentation. It concludes the presentation. I hope it was an enjoyable experience to you all, and we are ready to field any questions that you want to throw our way.
The floor is open for questions. So we'll structure our Q&A in this way. Maybe we can first take a few questions from folks from, let's say, Gabriela, Moti, and Tuba. And then we'll come for Gia as well as Natalia, and then to our Indian ecosystem as well. So Moti, do you have any questions for the team? How do you feel? How did the presentation go? Do you think that the structure was good enough? Were there any gaps per se?
Well done. Simply well done. It was well thought out. It was well presented. It was clear. It was less than 30 minutes, which is very important. You didn't, ramble for an hour and a half, so we could maintain concentration. Excellent, excellent presentation. I have many questions. I'm sure that's the nature of these things. If you say something, somebody will have questions. So I'd like to ask, out of the many that I have, I'd like to ask one. I don't know, Sashwat, who I should address this to, so I'll just address it to Team Northern Lights in general, and you gentlemen and ladies can decide who should answer. The question is like this. If you weren't doing this with, I believe, 4 crore investment, 4 crore didn't fall on your head tomorrow to start in Q3 with the development, what would be your minimum viable product? What would be the first single feature with which you could go to market?
I believe I can answer this question. The minimum viable product would be the initial Fitter social network, LinkedIn for gyms sort of app that we would like to put out. The device would come out later. We would start with the app, and yeah.
And could you go more minimum than that?
If we had to go even, say if you had to scale down even more, I would prefer, say, connecting trainers, platforms, and gyms and trainers first, which is like motivate them to go to the gym by say we partnered with a couple of gyms and we provide them with discounts, coupons to motivate them to go to the gym, and put the trainee trainers and the gyms on the platform in a very basic skeletal on this very basic skeletal platform, which just connects all 3 of them.
Thank you.
Okay. Next question, maybe we can take from Gabriela or Tuba, if you have any.
Hi, I don't know if you hear me or see. I'm right next to the sea, but my question is also about the MVP. Basically, perhaps like the long and the short and long-term strategy that would be perhaps interesting to see, and if perhaps the financial plan or the business model changes on this plan.
Okay, so I think we stated earlier, the minimum viable product would be the basic connectivity solution for the trainers, the trainees, and the gyms. And I didn't catch the last part of your question quite clearly.
Yes, so it would be more do you have perhaps a short-term and a long-term strategy to go?
So for the short term, this application, social media based LinkedIn for workout enthusiasts, gyms, and trainees. And the long term would be the Fitter AI device, which would include this subscription based plan, which would also give you personal training, correct posture through various VR AR technologies.
Adding to Akshay's point, I would also like to
would this be?
Yeah. Adding to Akshay's point, I would also like to tell a short-term strategy will be to using data analysis will optimize the pricing on the basis of the engagement of the apps. We'll first launch the apps with free subscriptions for 1 month, and we'll analyze the engagements of the customers and trainers on the app and will accordingly optimize the price using some statistical devices.
All right. No, thank you.
Thanks, Gabriela. Tuba, do you have any question from your end?
Yeah, I have quite a few questions, but I guess I will keep it to minimal. First off, great job. I think the presentation was very concise and great. So I'm going to ask two questions actually. One of the questions on my side was, I hear you mentioning LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. quite often, and one of the biggest things that fails a product is, in its nascent stages, not having enough validity behind the product. So I'm wondering if there was conscious thought put behind not partnering with social media platforms that already exist to kind of leverage that. And an example of that would be, like if you had a great workout, the ability to highlight that on your own LinkedIn or Facebook or Strava, etc. And similarly with devices, whether you thought about being a platform that would integrate pre-existing devices, which we have a couple of right now, instead of kind of creating your own device. So that's one question. And then the second question was around your demographics. I saw the demographic was 18 to 50. That's a lot of data to analyze from a big data perspective, right? So thinking through that, what is the segmentation? And then within that segmentation, what is your core audience? Thank you.
I would like to answer your segmentation part. That we have kept a big range because using statistical devices, we can do classifications and clusterings. So on the basis of their preferences, we'll cluster them into 3 to 4 different parts and focus on them particularly. Like for the young age who are fitness freaks, like there are some young age people who don't like fitness trainings, they just like cardio, yoga. So we can categorize them accordingly and make some pricing for them individually on the basis of that clustering. And the financial part that Akshay will explain.
Also to go back to your earlier question about being consciously putting up a separate social network, I think it was a bit of oversight on our part. We would enable sharing peer workouts on Instagram, given that Instagram is one of the biggest platforms to promote fitness and the health and fitness industry, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. And we even decided very early on in the discussions to integrate support for other devices, other fitness devices like Fitbit, like Samsung's various offerings. You could use those, and we would enable the integration of those on our platform to make up and come up with the statistics to create your own to create a trainee's profile.
Adding on to that, I would like to say that the motive was to create a community of fitness enthusiasts, and nowadays because of Corona also we can see there is lack of motivation in people. So there should be one platform where people will be just discussing fitness. So it would be a great platform. That's why we decided to go with a separate platform.
Yeah, I think that's what my question was. It was around why not create a platform of platforms instead of creating a whole new platform, and whether you thought that the ROI on creating your own AI-enabled device would be high versus just working on sort of integrations. I think it goes back to Mochi's question about what is the minimum viable product that you are going after, and how can you use stuff that already exists to kind of help with that goal versus reinventing the wheel a little bit.
So our main purpose is that we in the gym people can hire, that is they can check the credentials of these trainer certification. So these gym people can check whether they are is it a fraud or not. So the gym can hire from there, and as well as we have seen in different gyms that they think if they hire not a certified trainer, he may need to give him a less salary. But we need that platform is able to aware these gym trainers, these gyms, that certified trainers is safe and trustworthy for their customers. And because of that platform, we are also able to, my friend Shubda said, we are going to create platform only for fitness. So that will be for the area for fitness enthusiasts. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tuba. Thanks, folks. So, Gia, do you have any questions from your end?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting. And I think you did a great job. And even some slides are even better than the MBA's presentation. So good job. And I have two questions actually. And so for the pain point slides, and I find that the 5 pain points you identified as a lack of insights for me, because we are actually targeting the virtual fitness class. And what you are mentioning here, the 5 pain points can be applied in both offline, also online classes. So I'm wondering, are you doing, so during your surveys, are you asking the specific question about the pain point in the virtual class or the general fitness class? This is my first question. And the second is about the positioning. I see you mentioned the 3 keywords, social media, business, and employment. So I think this will make customer and all the investors a little bit confused when you identify the 3 entities in one platform. You should also minimize and think out where you want to go in 5-10 years, and you should have a clear picture what you want to deliver to the customers, and what is the final benefits, what the job you want them to get to be done. Yes, so that is my 2 suggestions and questions.
Answering to your pain points question, I would like to say the virtual, some of the people are not in favor of the virtual classes because they like the one-on-one interaction between the trainer and the customer. So that is why we have in our app, we have built in a suggestions board which will use recommendation system to suggest them the best fitness centers and classes which are nearby them. And for those who are at home and don't have time, which is the another pain point, the platforms on the app will also include that online classes. The trainers who do online classes, they can teach, they are those trainers who will not go out of their homes. They can teach their students and customers from their home. So they can log into either the fitness centers as well as the virtual classes. Both the centers will be covered in this way. I hope I was able to answer, or is there any more clarity you require?
Yeah, so you will cover 2. Yeah, that is pretty clear. Thank you.
I think there's a pending question from Gia as well. What is your pricing mode? How much you charge for the platform? The financial slide seems a little bit lack on the details of pricing. Can someone take that as well?
Okay, all right. So like our revenue model would be like I said, like I've considered out this we would like this to be like the LinkedIn for fitness initially. Then the first the revenue model would consist of like the connectivity solution. Like this would be like this 3-pronged approach to connect customers, gyms, and professionals with each other. We would also be providing a portal for trainers to be coached online and like take a standard cut. Would it be a percentage based cut or a flat cut? We do not really know as of yet. Then we would also provide like this marketing and promotion solution, since we would be like a platform. We would also help customers discover these niche activities, the niche, and at least the country currently, like MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and brand. We would also like to bring on like brand deals with various music streaming services like Spotify to like say curate playlists, promote their services. Then the third one would be the premium subscriptions. We would like to sell like 3 tiers of subscriptions, like the silver, the gold, and the diamond tier, platinum tier subscription. These would unlock like additional benefits like a more in-depth calorie tracker, which would include vitamins and minerals consumed throughout the day, an automated routine tracker that automates your workout, tracks it automatically and updates it, and various discounts on say like increased discounts on gym supplementation and like tertiary products, tertiary fitness products. Then also like the fourth one would be the Fitter AI device. This would be this was, I guess, pretty explained pretty in depth in the presentation itself. But the precedence for doing this is also that we found in our research, we found that if a company has a hardware solution like Fitbit, it tends to increase the user engagement with the app as well. given that Fitbit is like currently the leader in fitness applications and technology, it has the highest rate, and people attribute that generally, and research attributes that generally to the fact that people own a Fitbit device as well as using the Fitbit app, so they are more engaged with the application.
Okay.
I think these were like the 4 revenue streams we came up with.
Yes, I understand that currently maybe you don't have a how much you're gonna charge. And do you have any idea you were gonna charge it by cost plus some margin, or is it mainly about the value based? Or do you take a look at our competitors? So normally, how much profit margin?
I think if you're talking about the connectivity solution, we are not really sure as of yet. If you're talking about the premium subscriptions, then we do. It's 300 rupees 300 for the silver, rupees 600 for the gold, and rupees 900 for the platinum tier.
Okay.
These are based on like what our biggest competitors like Healthify and like Cultfit charge for their online services.
Well answered.
Thank you.
So, Natalia, do you have any questions from your end? How did you like the structure of the presentation?
Hello. Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for your presentation. And my question is like, what is your big vision? Like, 10 years from now, what is your big goal after you launch the platform?
The vision after we launch the platform is to be like this, to create like this revolution, like using our AI devices eventually, and not just our platform. You can work out from home. You can perform any exercise from home. You'll have trainers like streaming on screen on your homes, and you will be like, in the grand scheme of things, if everyone buys our products and everything goes smoothly, I would like to replace gyms altogether entirely someday.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. So coming back to our part of the world, question from Saurav. Saurav, you are there in the call? Saurav Jain?
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot for sharing all those insights and spending all those hours making that presentation and sharing your industry insights as well. Maybe I missed this part of the presentation, but can someone summarize your idea of fitness future, given the evolving landscape?
The ideal fitness future would be something that can stay on the move and be with you all the time. You don't have to pay, like go to the like spend our like say not everyone has access to gyms, not everyone has access to trainers, not everyone not every people. The ideal the future of fitness would be like this AI device on your home, mounted to your wall, where you can perform every workout activity that's possible. That would include dance, that would include yoga, that would include weight training even.
Adding to Akshay's point, I would like to say, as you must have seen the virtual reality, the future is that only. We can create virtual reality anywhere, anytime. We can create the fitness world in front of you anytime.
Okay, so my next level question would be, after the COVID lockdown gets over, do you think that 50% of the people will still stick around to working out from home?
Yes, I think
use
so.
Physical gym facilities only sparsely.
Yes, I think so, because see, I interviewed a couple of managers at Fitness First, at Cultfit, and they have voiced concerns. Like the consumers have voiced, the biggest concerns that consumers have voiced is they are still paranoid. Health, sanitation is suddenly in the forefront of like everyone's mind. Like this pandemic has shook the world so much. Like and gyms are like these. Are gyms even safe? Like people sweating all over. It is like a hotbed for it. May serve as gyms may serve as a hotbed for these things. People are paranoid to the point where one of the managers from Fitness First that we interviewed said that they're segregating time allotments. You can't just walk into the gym anymore. You have to book a slot from 6 to 8, 8 to 10, and work out in between those hours. After which they will periodically try and sanitize their entire gyms, and before letting in this new batch of people. This, I think, is a very inconvenient way to do things, and our solution, I guess, takes that inconvenience away.
Akshay, just an extension to that, do you think that a chain like Cult Fitness would be able to do away with the physical presence completely?
That
because if they are not able to do away with the physical presence, then it becomes like a necessary evil, whereby they do have to keep on spending on the physical outlets. However, the utilization of the physical part would be less. And for all the online solutions, I think my ARPU, which is average revenue per user, would definitely be lower than that of a guy who physically goes to the gym. And then the next, a far-fetched, extrapolation would be, can this be compared with what is happening on the education side, which is going from offline to online, like FitG and Vidya Mandir becoming Vedantu and an academy?
Okay, so to answer your first question, the gyms may have to continue to spend on physical spaces, but maybe the customer might not have to. Right. So as with all things that fall behind, they may end up not working, like existing even in the long run. That may sound a bit up there, but that's the theory, or at least that's like a theory, like a possibility. And then your third question, could you repeat that for me?
So I was saying, do you see any sort of a parallel in terms of industry evolution? Can we compare fitness with respect to education tech? So like initially we had all the physical classes, say FitG of the worlds, and then more and more penetration is happening on the online front, so much so that students have stopped going to offline classes altogether.
I do think there is a pretty there is a parallel. There are certain obstacles that like the fitness industry faces that say like the education industry does not. All you need to study online is like a small space, a table. Just sit there with a book. For working out, of course, you may need a little bit more space. You may lack the necessary equipments. That's what like Fitter wanted to solve. Our device wanted to solve as well. Like the lack of equipment, it's like this all-in-one encompassing equipment as well as your trainer mounted to your house. So maybe if this idea works, you can draw 1:1 parallel and say, okay, maybe physical education, like online education will make, say, physical education, like online education online will make like places, people going to places obsolete. Maybe fitness education and fitness classes online may make gyms obsolete one day. So you may, or you could draw a parallel, even though it's not always, it won't be 1:1.
Okay, given that now, would you want to introduce your product as an individual independent product? Would you want to sell it off to an already established player?
Sorry, I haven't given this question much thought. So
I would like to answer this on behalf of Akshay, if you allow.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. So basically, our thought was to keep this product wide open to all the varieties of customers. Even the gyms can accept this to create their separate competitive advantage over other gyms. And those who are not willing to go to the gyms, even the homes can adopt this. They can fit their this instrument at their homes, as well as the gyms can make some difference and create a competitive advantage by adopting these devices. Because as far as my understanding is concerned, now only the hardcore fitness freaks will join the gym in the short run after this COVID, and the normal who are going gym without much motivation and just for sake of socializing will prevent them from joining the gyms because of this COVID-19. So they would prefer these fitness activities to be done at home virtually, and the hardcore fitness trainers will try to go to the gym, because my interviews were based on these fitness trainers only. They told that without one-on-one hands-on experience with trainers, the fitness experience is not quite good, because when they don't interact face-to-face, it doesn't create that experience for them, the hardcore fitness trainers. It builds up some rapport with them, which helps them get some fitness activities. I hope I was clear.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you. That's it from my end.
I'll have to take a question from Yogesh. Yogesh, do you have any specific question for anyone?
Hi, first I would like to congratulate everyone for a very good presentation. It covers a lot of areas which are very complex in nature, including AI, ML, of course, and you bit talked about regulatory impact as well. I come from pharmaceutical industry, and regulatory compliance is one of my area of interest myself. So I will stick to that. uh, what you have mentioned here is about two specific things. You also try to include medical health as one of the offerings in your application, right? But in the presentation, you did not dwell much deeper into it. For what I see from based on my experiences, that medical health is one of the area where billions of dollars have been invested last year, specifically around 2 to 3 billion out of 13 billion, which was invested in digital health products. So one of the things which we as a healthcare industry a professional faces is that how do you surpass or ensure that the patient health is in what you call of the topmost priority when you bring all these AI based decision making algorithms in place. So how would you in your app ensures that your app or algorithm does not give wrong conclusions to your customers? And would you be able to what call bypass the regulatory hurdles? Like one of the things like the FDA or even the European medical agencies have talked about is that how do they ensure with all these innovations taking place to bring all these devices, which now they are terming as software as a medical device, into that regulatory compliance mechanism? So have you thought about this, or is that part of your overall vision of the application?
We haven't given regulatory compliance much thought. Therefore, it was a bit lacking in our presentation as well. We would hope to, given that say AI has made strides in like the medical industry. I do not recall like specific use cases, but I know that AI is used to diagnose certain rare genetic conditions these days more accurate than maybe even doctors can. So we do believe like AI is the future of the medical industry. But again, given regulatory compliances and our lack of experience with them, we neglected to like make it a larger part of our presentation. We would love to like explore those opportunities in the future if and when we were given the scope and opportunity.
No problem at all. One of the key feature you have mentioned, and as also as a pain point, is fake certificates of trainers and all, and they are not even qualified to give proper advice in terms of even exercise. I'm not even talking from like chiropractic viewpoint or medical viewpoint, right? And one of the solution to that you have mentioned is a manual check or some sort of manual check of those certification. But have you also thought, because your whole value proposition is around AI and ML, to use blockchain like Ethereum or say Ripple currency and all to be used in this as an authentication mechanism for those certification?
I would like to take this question. So basically, we will take the credential IDs and URLs of the certifications. Otherwise, it will not accept the certificates. So we can verify with it with the institution, and along with that, we can use image recognition system in AI, which will recognize the certificates pictures and differentiate it among the fake and the real ones. I hope it was clear, the image recognition part.
All right. And in terms of your competitor analysis, do you think others are doing it? If they are doing it, how better they are doing it with what you're proposing? Or if they're not doing it, why do you think they're not doing it?
As far as my research is concerned, this image recognition in the field of certificate validation is not being used by any of the current fitness fields or platforms.
Thanks, folks.
I can't say why they are not doing it, but this field should be we should go deep inside this field, because in the virtual world currently, all the trainers are worried because anyone is coming into this fitness industry as a trainer. They're opening an online class, and this platform will prevent that.
All right. Well, thank you, Akshay and Pratik.
Yeah. I'd like to add to your point, Yogesh, a bit. We did not consider blockchain, but I do think like it is a very good suggestion. Thank you.
We'll take last 1 or 2 questions. We just have 2-3 minutes. Please keep that in mind. Vishwajit or Sunil Narayan, can any one of you do you have any questions? Then you may ask, please.
Hey guys, great presentation. Excellent energy levels that I can see from you. One question that I had was regarding the insight. So one of the insights spoke about the area of mental health. So especially in COVID times, and because you're working on an application and in the digital frontier, have you considered expanding into the mental health space? If so, what would be your approach? Thank you.
Along with the fitness trainers, the fitness industries also include the nutritionists, the stress management experts, the other like motivational speakers. We would also allow them to log in as trainers so that they can post their motivational things and stress management videos. They can personally train those who are mentally not that good. This is what we have thought about to do in our app.
Okay. Sunil, a last question from you, and then we'll close the call. Sorry, guys, for going off the time limit by 1 or 2 minutes. Sunil, anything on the financial side or anything that you have at this point in time?
Hi, Shashwat. First of all, great performance by the team, considering that you were able to get motivated enough to work during these times. Plus, I'd also give a shout out to Amir, who successfully mentored you from a remote location. So great job, Amir, with that. I just have one quick query. So going through your entire presentation, I was trying to first jot down what exactly your offering was. So I first came across online classes through AI that Adidas or Fitter, your namesake, is already doing, or online like what VideoFit is doing, or you also had a segment where you sell products online from an e-commerce perspective. Then you have a platform of platforms like a Reddit or a LinkedIn for fitness enthusiasts. Then you have a playlist like what Aptiv or CureFit have. Then you have niche fitness applications like yoga or pre-postnatal, which also has applications of its own. Then you would also want to replace gyms and collaborate with them and also suggest gyms that are close by. You would also want to integrate medical records and fitness band information. So operationally, to me, this just seems a little all over the place, and it seems like a nightmare for you guys to manage on the ground. So how would you prioritize all of these things that you've listed down that you want to do? Because you won't have a lot of money to work with, you won't have a lot of time or energy to work with, and the competition is very, very tough. So what are the few areas that you prioritize? Because you definitely can't get through with all of them.
Okay, so to put things a bit into perspective, I think a timeline of things would help. First off, we would like to launch like this social media, like this LinkedIn for fitness, which connects like gyms to trainers, trainers to gyms, gyms to trainees, trainees to gyms. This would be like this our priority. So a timeline would put these things into perspective. First off, a social media platform for these gyms, trainers, and trainees where they can get connected. Now, through this platform, we would like to expand further, like maybe say like how like people like curate maybe playlists, make like these posts. Like if you use something like a MyFitnessPal, you would know that they constantly put up recipes, curate playlists on inside their app. So we would like to do that. The e-commerce side would be, because we are like we're like targeting this a particular market segment of just fitness and health and not just general social media. We would also like to like give these e-commerce offerings. Like if you want to buy through us, you may get special discounts. Like there is precedent for this with applications like Fiternity, which also offers people discounts to go to the gym. Then then after that, we would like to launch an AI device, which would be specifically for people who may not want to go to the gym, or like people who wouldn't resonate with people who would not like to go to the gym, who don't have time to go to the gym and want to work out from home. And maybe eventually in the long run, as we expand, we may end up replacing gyms, is like the grand vision of things, but it's not the short term of it all.
Okay, thanks, guys. So I'll have to close it. We have shot by 3 minutes, but thank you so much for the participants, for your energy and explanations, and thank you so much for the panelists as well. I'll be sending out a short survey. If you could help us with few of the insights that will help us to rate and give some effective feedback to all the participants as well. Tuba, Gabriela, as well as Moti, thank you so much for joining us, and all the panelists as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you had a good time and good insights learning from this session as well. Thanks, folks.
Thank
Well done, everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.